everyone, it's Vela here. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a new video. Today we're doing something a little bit different just because I kind of realized that this kind of a video or a guide doesn't really exist. So I came across this when I was playing and I was trying to this is my sim who's in the style influencer career, and I was trying to get him to have, you know, those inspiration buffs or whatever they are called, impression buffs, so that I could add stuff to this board, which by the way I will have to move again, I think, because I'm not sure if I can access it right here. But anyway, then I googled and to see like if there was a list of activities that would give you the buff, and I realized that there wasn't really. Like, there were some conversations in some forums about what might work and stuff like that, but not really a full-on list. And I don't know if I can name every single interaction that could give you this kind of a buff. Yeah, we'll have to move the board to a better place again. I built this room for a project, and it's kind of for an architect, but I wanted to have this board here. I think it works just as well for any kind of architect or designer, as well as a style influencer. But yeah, so for the screenshots I just wanted to have like some impressions on here, and that was such a tiny thing that turned out to be quite difficult and time consuming for me to do. And he is in level 2, I think, and he will get promoted as soon as we have work again. But so it has taken me a while to get, this was my second buff, and it's taken me like 3 to 4 sim days. So I just kind of wanted to share with you guys some ways you can get these buffs and what you can do with them. So how I got my first buff, I think that was by writing an article. So that's one way you can get them. So if you're in the style influencer career, you go to the computer, you pick career, and you write an article. It sometimes is your work assignment and stuff like that. We could actually do a fashion blog and see if that can give us a buff as well. And the second buff, I believe, that I got was from these paintings that my sim made. And if the painting is okay, it's in everything. So if you're just in the style influencer career, you will have this pop up as an impression when you click on a painting, and that might give you a buff. I'm not sure if it always does, but I found it quite useful. So just when you go here and view this painting, that gives you one of those buffs, and it's an inspirational buff. Let's see if we can get one right now so that I can show you better. Okay, writing, what was that? A fashion blog did not do anything, at least this time. So I think it's also always depends on like the mood and just luck if they get that buff. But let's see if we view this painting of ours, if we get a buff from that. So just to figure out if that always happens or if that's random as well. Okay, so he did get an impression buff from that. So now you can see here, so when you do one of those interactions, you get this inspired buff that says style impression. You can only get this if you are in the style influencer career. So it says here, from style influencer interaction. All great works start off as fleeting ideas that inspire refinement. Capture this impression on a style board to refine it into fashion fabulousness. Then when you have this buff, you should go to the style board you've gotten when you've joined the career and press add impression. So it always adds these little details here. he does this little animation and picks up these colors and stuff, and then things get added to the board. Oh, it's looking pretty nice right now. Sorry, we don't want to join your club. So when you have this board and there's something on it, you get the options to plan outfits or customize board. This one I haven't actually seen before. Okay, you can just change the background color, but let's see what happens when you plan outfits. Okay, it takes you to cast. I haven't played with this career enough myself. It kind of got lost in everything, even though it's a very great career, but it was published so close before Get Famous. So, okay, I'm not sure like if this actually does anything to your sim, but when you click on plan outfits, it like actually takes you to create a sim to plan your outfits. We can give him just maybe something like this, just a very basic outfit for now, just for the purposes of this video. And let's go back and see what else we can get those buffs from. And also one thing I'm interested is if that takes away the buffs or the impressions, I should say, that were already on the board, because I am not sure about that. Okay, the impressions are still here, so planning outfits doesn't do anything to the board. It just takes you to cast and the board stays like it was. And I believe you can also get the buff from just viewing a regular painting as well as your own paintings. Yeah, so here's assess impression. Let's see. Okay, I'm pretty sure that with paintings, if you choose assess impression, you get the buff. Pretty surely I've gotten it every time now that I've done that interaction, so that should be the most foolproof way to get one, I think. But I do believe you have to be level 2 in the style influencer career, so it doesn't work right away. But it's a very foolproof way to get those impressions when you need them. And another way I know you can get impressions is of course by talking to other sims. I would like to talk to Judith, but I don't think that works. Here's Lily Feng. Let's go talk to her. And I didn't succeed in getting an impression in like with this sim from talking to anyone else, but I've done it before, so I know it works. So when you are in the style influencer career, there are a couple of new interactions that pop up, and one of them is interviewing sims that you often have to do for your work, but then there's also discuss outfit, and I believe this one can give you a buff. It's not as certain as the painting thing, but I know I've gotten it from this before. And then one thing I was trying out is that does taking selfies or pictures actually of other sims give you buffs? I'm not sure, but we can try to do it a couple of times. At least, you know, I can imagine it kind of does, because I think, oh wow, this is a very nice way to kind of live in the style influencer career a bit more, even though I'm not sure if it's actually like influencing anything per se, but that's really cool. So now we've taken pictures of Lily and we've talked about her outfit. Let's still do the interview, but I don't think we're gonna get a buff from her. Let's see. And I've tried to do this many times, so it would seem that this is quite an uncertain way to get the buff. So even though you have to do this for work, I don't always recommend this if you just want the buffs. But of course it depends on the way you're playing. But for this video we just want to figure out all the different ways to get those buffs. And one thing I was also trying, because like I said I couldn't really find information on this, is if you could get buffs from viewing like crystals or something. That would kind of seem logical, but I'm not sure if it works yet. So we found a sapphire. Let's see if we put it around here and okay, let's study it. I don't think you can just view it, so it might not work. But again, I just feel like it would be kind of logical, so I wanted to try that out. Okay, he's just gotten focused. And one thing also I noticed is that even though if you attempt the introduction to a celebrity and they are okay with it, like you become acquaintances, you can't interview them. You can't actually do those fashion influencer career things. And let's go home, and you might have noticed I have this little photo wall here because I was trying to figure out how likely it was to get an impression from these guys. So we took some pictures of Lily and then we took pictures of Kayla. But I don't think it's very likely, at least if even possible at all, to get a buff from these photos. But yeah, like you can see, I was trying that out. First I thought maybe only taking the photo might do it, but it would appear not to do anything. Then let's try making some paintings. For now, I haven't been able to get a buff from paintings, but all the previous paintings I did were with the sketch pad. So let's see if the easel makes it any better, or if you can even get a buff from that. And also I realized I should mention that the assess impression interaction is available for all like pieces of art, not just paintings. So all these sculptures and stuff like that can also give you the buff, but it would not seem to be the case with like collectibles you find. Okay, so he did not get a buff from the painting itself, but let's assess this painting. So that should give us a buff if my research has been correct. Okay, this time we did not actually get a buff, so I think it's just more likely than from some other interactions, but not always happens even with paintings. And we'll see what else we can do tomorrow. Now let's try writing an article and see if that gives us a buff this time around. Okay, I don't think we got a buff from writing the article either, but when you have done writing the article you should also submit it. So let's see if that does anything, and those things also give you fame if you do have get famous. So being a fashion influencer or a style influencer does give you quite a big bit of fame, especially if you like combine it with other things like selling your paintings or photographs or something like that. But yeah, dude, we need to discuss your outfit because I want to know what's going on. Okay, we did not have any luck getting a buff from interacting with other sims again like this time either, but we're very soon done with this mural. So let's do what happens once we have completed that. He got the normal inspired buff from just finishing this, but no buff. Okay, it would seem I had him look at some art pieces, and it would seem we've gotten another impression from there. So yeah, I definitely think that's the safest way to get them impressions. And I'm not sure like if there are anything else. So far we've gotten it from interacting with Sims. I've done it before. I believe it should still work unless it's somehow bugged out or something. And we've gotten it from writing an article which we should by the way do, so I'm just gonna do that, as well as looking at art that gives you the buff the easiest, at least in my experience. But I don't think there are any other ways, to be honest. If there are, they are quite hard to find. I have not figured them out. So I would recommend trying out those three and just doing the tasks that you have to do. You will get the buffs at some point, I guess. Yeah, so anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and it's just something a little bit different that I felt like I would have needed myself but couldn't find. So I thought like that's what tutorials or like guides are for finding information that you are wondering about or something like that. So let me know if there are some other ways to get these buffs, or if there are some other tutorials or guides like that, like this one, that you would like to see from me. I am thinking of doing some building tutorials, but I'm not sure about that yet. This was just something that was very, you know, it popped to my mind. It was very current, and even though the career itself isn't that new, it's still kind of like, well, it's one of the newest. So yeah, I hope you like this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will see you all very soon again, and bye bye.